Hey, Brad,
Yeah.
I got something for you to add to your table. And a question that I get quite often.
Okay.
But I got you something really cool here. Let's see, watch this. Guys, look at what I got him. He's gonna close your eyes.
Okay, they're closed.
Okay.
Oh,
You can.
those are big. Oh my God, those are mucho money. But they're not okay. The handles are big. These are probably fabric scissors, like because you use them a lot. They got really thick blades and everything. And I actually used to have a pair of. I've done a lot of things in my life. The worst job I ever had in my life, horrible. The most god awful job I ever had. I only lasted a month. I couldn't take it. And I was like 20. No, I was 28 years old. Making 56-foot fishing boats out of a 48-foot mold. How do you do that? Well, you have to have two molds because you make a 48-foot layup, all of the hull and everything with the stringers and everything in it, and then you cut it in two and you put in a piece. Okay, so then you have to laminate all of that back together. So you actually make a 56-foot boat out of a 48-foot mold. If you have a 48-foot mold, you can make them shorter and you can make them longer just by cutting them in two. Believe it or not, a lot of those big, 56, 60-foot fishing boats weren't made. In today's technology, maybe yes. Okay, but back... God.
Use your words, Brad.
40 years ago. Okay. Anyway, the worst job I ever had was laying on my back underneath that hull, grinding fiberglass. And you tape, and Vaseline becomes your absolute best friend. You literally smear Vaseline on everything, and you put on a sock, you put on your neck guard, sleeve, and you tape your coveralls and stuff, but you smear Vaseline on everything you can because the fiberglass dust will stick to it. Don't touch yourself. Don't touch yourself. Okay? Then you go and wash the Vaseline off. Have you ever tried to wash Vaseline off that's just smeared all over you? Okay? I mean, I was soft. Woo, I was soft. But anyway, laying underneath it, grinding the fiberglass, wearing a respirator. If you've ever worn a real respirator, okay, or a real chemical canister, like gas mask, and it, because it's sucked onto you and it pulls your chin down like that. Next thing you know, everything hurts. It's unbelievable. But if I just held you like that, and you couldn't relax like that at say 2 hours, these muscles in your neck really get to hurting and everything. So, worst job I ever had. I'll get back real quickly. I used to have to cut matting. Okay, so you have your woven and your mat and your fiberglass and your resin, and you lay it up, you squeegee it all out and everything. I actually seen, God, this just brings back memories. I actually seen a guy laminate his hand to the boat. And you think, how could you do that? In first place, in places where you can have sagging and everything else, you mix it up hot, a lot of catalyst, okay? And it gets hot. But what he did is he had his feet on the stringers, and he leaned over, and he stretched way out, and he's got this big squeegee, and he waited just seconds too long to take his hand out of the resin. And as fast as another guy could, took a razor knife, cut around his hand, got his hand out of the resin, and then they had to go to work and get his hand out of what was left. It just freaked me out. And it's getting hot, and it's just really, really bad. But my scissors were probably that long for cutting
I'd like to apologize to our audience. I didn't know giving him a pair of scissors would cause so much memories to come up. Anyways, back to the scissors now. There we go.
Anyway, Chance just handed me a pair of scissors. They look to be kind of quality Quinn, Quinn. They're 11-inch shop shears. They're not scissors. Okay, I guess, you know, scissors, but these are shears. So I already got my knife out because I can see that stuff is tough. So I don't know, let's, hell, I'm just gonna go in here. Whoop, that's enough for sharp. I'm not really scared of my knife, and yes, I could cut, and it could be bad. It could be real bad. But I'm just gonna go along through the plastic right there. Okay. And, oh, I see that. Oh, anyway, that was some kind of snap. Anyway, that's really tough. And let's see, because it is thick, and I'll hold still, you can see this is actually quite thick. That is a pair of, so if you're working, and they're even come oiled, that's really cool. If you're working with brass and copper sheeting and stuff like that, if you're doing fiberglass, if you're cutting cardboard, if you're making patterns, even out of cardboard that might be, you know, this thick. Okay. My God. That would look like this. All right, that's 1/16 of an inch thick. And then this is probably a 1/16 or better, and it's probably really hard. All right, that is just like crazy.
Goes through the whole plastic and everything.
Yeah, all right, right through. Part of the reason he's cut so good, and I'm going to show you here in a second, all good shears have a serrated edge side and a smooth side. The serrated edge side bites. It doesn't spit it out, it bites, okay? So let's go right through the, watch your fingers. All right, part of the reason it has such a big handle, no more than I just cut, okay, and then I'm gonna move the shears. That bone right there would not be happy at the end of the day if you were cutting a lot of material. Yeah, at this ridge, okay, not a good deal, but anyway, oh, that would just be a bad deal. All right, so anyway, we're going to get back to, all right, they do have a tensioner nut, so you can adjust them just a little bit, and it's got a Nylox nut, doesn't have a lock washer. They're on the backbone, probably pushing 1/4 of an inch thick at 3/16. All right, and then that's the smooth, oh, they got some dings in them already. Whew, come from the factory with dings in the blade. See the glistening? See the difference?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so somebody used that at the factory for something. All right, and then on this side, this is real evident. I'll hold still. See how they have, it's not really serrated. They actually ground little grooves in it so that it really bites. This side forces, okay, and it bites the fabric. You know, they go all the way across. So you have the flat, you have the secondary, and we'll call it third, I don't know, the primary and secondary bevel. And they're, I don't know, 1/32 of an inch wide or thick. So that makes it pretty dang tough. So if you're going to sharpen these, you only work on that little tiny bevel at the end. Now with my sharpener, I can do this side, but I can't do this side except from about there down. And I'm going to show you why. If you have shears like this, please don't sharpen them completely with my sharpener unless you take and, like I did, okay, unless you file the plastic off of the end, and this is what I'm talking about. See how that little guard is sticking out there? All right, that helps keep the carbide in there, plus it keeps the corners buried in the plastic. Speedy Sharp, good product, not gonna knock it, but Speedy Sharp without the black cap on there, if you put that in your pocket, the corners gouge your leg. It's a really bad thing. So anyway, the reason that I filed that off is so I can get flatter. I can come clear up to there, no, to here, to there, and take the burr off. Ooh, wow, they really did something to them scissors, okay? So anyways, back here, see I can't reach I'll tip it like this. My carbide can't reach this edge. So when you open them up, and these have such a slight, I'm thinking that's only like a 2-degree bevel. It's almost flat across there, but it does have a small, slight relief to it, so the product can go down as it cuts. So it would be like that, this. So you would lightly let it turn. Don't be 90 degrees, but let it turn. Come back in here like that. And now notice I turned it this way. And I'm gonna set it down like I normally are. Oh, these are so short that it's hard to, okay, we'll just do it like that. Now it's a little more like a machine working on it. Just like that. Here, there. Now, if I was really gonna sharpen these professionally for somebody else, I would have a little 3-inch by 1 inch by 1/2 inch thick. So 1/2 inch thick, 1 inch, 3 inches long, whetstone, so that I could open these like this, lay the whetstone down and take the burr off like that. I would do it like this because I can keep the same angle every pass real easy, just like that. I can come out here and work on just the tip, let the sun shine on the blade so I can see exactly. New steel exposed to the oxygen shines after it oxidizes, which means it was left alone for a while. I'm going to turn this around. Oh, geez, I just figured something out. Instead of trying to come in all the way from that way, come in this way. If the plastic is gone, I can get it flat like this. Okay, then we do this, that. Why am I turning it every pass? I'm taking that little burr completely off, okay? That bites. So, I know they're new, but if they still, it won't move. Not without taking the fingernail off, and do it the other way. Part of the reason I do stress, you absolutely, now out here it's really easy. See, I can get all the way across and keep it 100% flat. With this one, okay, I can only keep it flat to there. Then as I move back to take the burr off, see how it's at an angle? Never, under any circumstances, ever touch the flat spot of your scissors at an angle like that, because what you're going to do is you're going to create a bevel on the back. Your scissors are going to be intercoursed. Not a good idea. I can, sort of in an emergency situation, I can sharpen it, and because I know how light I should be touching it, I'll just do this and take the burr off. You would only want to tune up your scissors 2 or 3 times max before you actually sharpen them correctly. Otherwise, you're going to develop a burr on the back, a bevel on the back, and that's not going to work well. So, okay, so I just worked on this side. This side, which happens to be the serrated, we'll just call it serrated. All right. So on that side, I would just very lightly let it bump, let it sing. Same bevel, just like that. If I needed to, I come out here on the point like this. Don't go too fast, don't press too hard, let it just follow. I bet I can call ducks. Anyway, so then we do this. I'm right there, out, keep it flat. I'm going to turn this over, turn it around, keep it flat, bring it back at me. Now, if I'm full of BS, I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm lying, if I'm a fraud, if all I'm selling is snake oil, which I do have a little can of snake oil down there, so once in a while if I need to, I get a little snake oil. All right, if I'm full of BS, as much as I've been touching this, that shouldn't cut. All right, that is thick. But that's what these are made for. They call them shears because that's what they're doing. They're actually shearing. They're not cutting like scissors do. They're shearing. They're really cool. Quinn, I do like the handle here. I don't like the hard right there, because that bone right there is really going to get aggravated. So it's pretty cool. I have no idea where they came from. Probably I don't even know. Walmart maybe, but they're really good. You could actually cut grass and stuff. You could cut a lot of things with these. Do not cut little wire ties. You can cut zip ties, but do not cut, remember the old bread, the twisty ties? A lot of people think that that piece of wire is so small, it's not going to hurt my scissors or my shears. That is not true. It will put little dings in them, and once you put a little ding in it, if you want it right, then you actually have to re-grind it. And you have to grind it down. So let's say the ding is 3/1000 of an inch, and that's not 3/1000 of an inch. Anyway, let's say the ding is 3/1000 of an inch. To make them right, you have to take 3/1000 of an inch off of the entire surface down to where in here, where the ding is. Okay, you have to get below the ding so that you never notice that ding again. Now, if you're depending on what you're cutting, if you're just cutting up cardboard and stuff, it's irrelevant. Leave the ding in it, sharpen them, and just go on with your life. But if you're cutting something that it does make a difference, you're going to have to fix it. This is Brad Buckner, sharpensbest.com. That's kind of a quick rundown tutorial how to sharpen shears. Okay, so even flowers and grass and soft spring limbs, little ones, let me see. I'm going to do something here. This is not a little one, but okay. But if you were pruning rose bushes or something, and it was that sharp, and these scissors are tough. Now, I say spring because this one is starting to get the sap out on the end. It's a new bud. It's getting ready to come out. Yes, it can freeze again, and depending on the tree and the vegetation, the whatever, and how hard it freezes, once they start budding out like that and you get a hard enough freeze, that tree's done. It's not going to produce. So little like that, those are 1/8 inch. That's 1/4 inch. I'm actually kind of surprised how easy, this is actually easier than cutting that cardboard, because this is soft, it's spring. There you go. This is Brad Buckner, sharpensbest.com.